Hello and welcome to my Yu-Gi-Oh channel. Today we're looking at the TCG Forbidden Unlimited list. This comes into effect as of June 2021 and I'm just going to give you my thoughts on these cards. So we'll begin with the forbidden cards. These are the ones that you are no longer allowed to play any copies of. The first being Guard Dragon LP. This is a dark attribute dragon type link monster. Its arrow points to the left and it has 1000 attack points. It requires one level 4 or lower dragon type monster to summon it. You cannot special summon monsters except dragon monsters. During your main phase, you can special summon one dragon monster from your hand or deck to your zone that 2 or more link monsters point to. You can only use this effect of Guard Dragon LP once per turn. You can only special summon Guard Dragon LP once per turn. Now the problem with this card is it's a main key player within a annoying deck called Dragon Link. So these are a bunch of monsters that like to link spam each other, being able to special summon various dragons throughout the extra deck and also from your hand and maybe even potentially from the deck. This, alongside things like Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon, were incredibly degenerate and even to this day still are. They make it so that you can go into basically most link monsters and then negate everything your opponent does and put them in a situation where they just rage quit because they have no alternative, they have no means of overcoming this. And short of negating the effects of a number of monsters, you're not going to be able to get over this type of build. My main concern about this is I've just seen already that they're planning to create even further link monsters and support for dragon type monsters, and therefore this is actually going to make this ban, null and void. Zodiac Trident is an earth attribute beast warrior type Xyz monster. It's a rank 4 with question mark attack and defense. It requires 4 level 4 monsters, and once per turn you can also Xyz summon Zodiac Trident by using one Zodiac monster you control with a different name as material. Transfer its materials to this card. It gains attack and defense equal to the attack and defense of all Zodiac monsters attached to it as material. Once per turn, as a quick effect, you can detach one material from this card, then target one face-up card on the field and destroy it. This is the same level of ban list as what's happened with the OCG, which means this is a common pattern of people overusing this card within both Japan and elsewhere within the TCG. The concerns about this card is, firstly, Zodiac monsters can just stack onto this card, and therefore this can become well over 2,300 attack points, making it incredibly difficult to get over. And the annoying part of its quick effect being that it can be activated during yours and your opponent's turn to just wipe out one face-up card. If your opponent understands how your deck is running, they know the key cards that you're probably going to be searching for, and then can destroy those before you ever get the chance to go into any combos. Miscellaneous Saurus is a fire attribute dinosaur type level 4 with 1800 attack and 1000 defense. And its effect is, during the main phase, as a quick effect, you can send this card from your hand to the graveyard. During this main phase, dinosaur monsters you control are unaffected by your opponent's activated effects. You can banish any number of dinosaur monsters from your graveyard, including this card, special summon one dinosaur monster from your deck with a level equal to the total number of monsters banished to activate this effect, but destroy it during the end phase. You can only use this effect of Miscellaneous Saurus once per turn. This is a very degenerate card within the dinosaur type archetypes because firstly, it's able to just banish itself to, first of all, it's able to discard itself to protect all of your dinosaur type monsters for the turn, which means if you've got something that your opponent can't activate, that means you're going to win within the turn. So for people who could build quite powerful boards, this is always a big threat. The other thing is you just banish this alongside a number of other monsters and then you're able to get into one of your other dinosaur types. I think the biggest one was like Baby Cerosaurus, and there was like a Pterodon version of it itself, where if they were destroyed by a card effect, then they'd either search or they would summon to the field, which made the deck far too consistent. The Formapal Skull Crobat Joker is a dark attribute spellcaster type pendulum monster. It's a level 4 with pendulum scale of 8. 1800 attack and 100 defense. The pendulum effect, you cannot pendulum summon monsters except Performapal monsters, Magician pendulum monsters, and Odd Eyes monsters. This effect cannot be negated. The monster effect, when this card is normal summoned, you can add one Performapal monster, Magician pendulum monster, or Odd Eyes monster from your deck to your hand, except Performapal Skull Crobat Joker. This is one of the key cards which was in Pepe, which is one of the most competitive pendulum monster decks. It included both the Formapals and the Performages, where they weren't intended to, but for some reason they got mixed in with each other. The pendulum effect itself isn't really that useful, and it's not really that much of a limitation, considering the type of build you're going to be going with is mostly going to be a Yugioh style one, so therefore he relies on the Perform of Howls, the Odd Eyes, and the Magicians. It's just to add to the consistency and to stop this being abused in other formats. Its monster effect is where its actual effect is really key, in that it can search for any of these monsters. So it's a rotor for the deck, and it just makes going into certain monsters a lot easier. Striker Dragon is a dark attribute dragon type link monster. It's got a link rating of 1, its link arrows at the left, and it's got 1000 attack points. It requires 1 level 4 or lower dragon type monster to summon it, and its effect is, if this card is link summoned, you can add 1 boot sector launch from your deck to your hand. You can target 1 face up monster you control and 1 rocket monster in your graveyard, destroy the first target, and if you do, add the second target to your hand. You can only use each effect of Striker Dragon once per turn. This is another combination piece which was part of the Dragon Link type of deck, which is very powerful and overly strong. It's not really relied on for its ability to search for boot sector launch, more for its destruction ability and the fact that it can help to link spam into various other monsters. I mean, it's able to recover something as well, so if you've got any of your rockets which do trigger their effects from being destroyed, it can then help special summon those. Salamangreat Mirage Stelio is a fire attribute Cyverse type Xyz monster. It's rank 3 with 2000 attack and 900 defense. It requires 2 level 3 monsters, and the effect, you can detach 1 material from this card, special summon 1 Salamangreat monster from your deck in defense position. Also, you cannot activate monster effects for the rest of this turn except fire monsters. If this Xyz summoned card is sent to the graveyard as material for the link summon of the Salamangreat monster, you can target 1 monster on the field, return it to the hand. You can only use each effect of Salamangreat Mirage Stelio once per turn. This card is one of the consistent ones needed for Salamangreats, in that it succeeds material. By detaching it, you're able to special summon a Salamangreat of your choice from your deck in defense position. That can then be used to help go into one of your link monsters. The other benefit is, if you do happen to use this card as part of the link summon, you're able to compulsory evacuation device 1 of your opponent's cards, 1 of their monsters, back to their hand, which means if they've got something they've put quite a lot of investment into, then they're going to have to try and resummon that to the field. Or you could do that actually with 1 of yours if it's got a normal summon ability that you might not be able to use if it wasn't for having this effect. Sky Striker Mobilize Engage is a normal spell card with the effect, if you control no monsters in your main monster zone, add 1 Sky Striker card from your deck to your hand, except Sky Striker Mobilize Engage. Then, if you have 3 or more spells in your graveyard, you can draw 1 card. This is one of the key cards used within the Sky Striker archetype, in that if you don't have any monsters, you can just search for any of those cards you need, and you also have the benefit, because they do run multiple spell cards, if you have 3 of those, it doesn't have to be with different names, it just has to be 3 or more. You get the bonus of drawing an additional card. Sky Strikers in general have kind of fallen off the face of the planet, because they were very popular for a time until some of their key cards were banned or limited to a point where they were no longer viable. You also had variations of different cards which changed the pace of dueling, and therefore this was kind of made out of existence. The only monster to be on the semi-limited list is Double Iris Magician. Semi-limited means that you can run up to 2 copies as a maximum. It's a dark attribute spellcaster pendulum monster. It's level 4 with a pendulum scale of 8, with 1500 attack and 1000 defense. The pendulum effect is, once per turn you can target 1 dark attribute spellcaster type monster you control, apply this effect to it, then destroy this card. Once applied, double any battle damage that monster inflicts to your opponent, this turn if it battles an opponent's monster. And the monster effect is, this card is always treated as Pendulum Dragon card. If this card is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can add 1 Pendulum Graph card from your deck to your hand. The pendulum effect itself just means that any one of your dark attribute spellcasters can do double battle damage. I know this was sidelined into Dark Magician at some point, very strangely, just to be able to do double damage. That's fine as an effect, but it only lasts for that 1 turn. The monster effect is actually more reliable, because when it's just destroyed in battle or by card effect, it doesn't matter, either one meets the condition. You can then search for a specific card, which helps to filter out your deck and to be able to search into your key cards more easily without running specific support. And the only card which has been unlimited, which means it's gone to 3, is Symbol of Heritage. This is an equipped spell card with the effect: activate only while there are 3 monster cards with the same name in your graveyard. Select one of those monsters, special summon it, and equip it with this card. When this card is destroyed, destroy the equipped monster. Again, I don't understand what purpose of this is. Are people really concerned with things like Cyber Dragon or Harp Eater Ladies? Because those are the only ones I can really think of that you'll be running triple of, or in their case they treat their names as the same as other cards. So for example, all of the Harpy Ladies consider themselves to be Harpy Lady, whether you go for 1, 2 or 3, or you go for Oracle, or you go for any of the others. Same with all of the Cyber Dragon cards, they pretty much treat themselves as Cyber Dragon. So there's that relevance. I think there's a loop that I've seen on one of the Reddit pages which says that actually if you do that with something like Cannon Soldier, you can inflict multiple amounts of burn damage, and therefore they didn't want to have this in effect. It's not really that relevant an effect anyway. I mean, it's okay, but I would much rather use things like Premature Burial, I know which is banned, or things like Call of the Haunted, or even archetype-specific Revival, because at least that way you don't have to meet such a strange condition in the graveyard. What do you guys think of the current ban list for the TCG? I will put a link below for the description of the OCG one. I've already made a video of that, and I've given you my opinions on this. Personally, I feel pretty much most of the cards deserve the slots that they've been received in. I don't think there's anything I would have particularly changed. If anything, we're just kind of waiting on the new direction of the game, as most things have happened just because of remote duels. We're in a situation where no one has really had any physical duels, and even major tournaments have been cancelled or created in such a way that people don't feel so motivated to really focus on their game and the competitive play, and just might be doing it for their own mental health. Whatever you think, leave your comments down below, like the video if you enjoyed it, and don't forget to subscribe for more daily Yu-Gi-Oh content.